Hello, everyone. This is Cody Lee of BlackCatBooks.org, author of I, the Dragon, Cruel and Beautiful, Rabbit Hole Lore and Frame, the upcoming Jaw of the Dragon. I've been meaning to make this video for a long time, several weeks, in fact. I don't remember exactly when this happened, but, I do think it's worth talking about when it comes to, the ongoing saga of Cody Lee versus Toby Fox. I have noticed, by the way, that, my name has been popping up in certain Toby Fox-related, debates online, which is very, very, very flattering to see. I'm very glad to see more and more people are questioning the narrative that's presented to us about Toby Fox, the master game designer, the most beloved man in all of Japan. It's a complete joke. It always has been. It's nothing new, but I'm seeing more and more people point out the plagiarism, the lies, the double standards, the blatant misinformation. There's so much to talk about when it comes to Fox's just general degeneracy and just general failures as a creator and as a human being. But I do think this is a really good, interesting example of just how desperate Fox must be for any kind of attention, right? This is just the go-to. This is just a blatant example of just how Undertale fans will try and make a mountain out of a molehill. They will make this seem like a fantastic personal achievement for Toby Fox and proof that he's a highly successful, highly beloved game creator in Japan, when it really doesn't mean anything at all. And I am, of course, referring to the interview he conducted with the Yume Nikkei creator, who I don't know the name of. Okay, so I don't know anything about Yume Nikkei. Don't know anything about it. It's some indie game from Japan. I think it has a cult following online. I think it's a similar situation to Undertale, but this guy is Japanese. Probably he's probably more Pixel. He's probably more an actual game developer. I don't know anything about Yume Nikkei or this particular developer, but apparently he's a really big recluse. Apparently he doesn't like coming out and actually talking about the game at all, right? Apparently a big a part of the appeal is the mystery and the intrigue, and just talking about it would ruin it for a lot of people. And the fact that he came out and did an interview with Toby Fox, ooh, that should be a big deal. Ooh, are we gonna get insight into the indie game development process? Are we gonna learn about how the Yume Nikkei guy feels about Undertale? Are we going to get some insights into the Japanese versus Western game development culture? No. What Toby Fox does is that he sends this guy 10 yes or no questions, and then he responds to them. It was just what? That's it was legit. I thought the Yoko Shikamura video was bad, right? I talked about that, how terrible that interview was. I bitched and raged about that. That made me angry. This, I think, is worse. I was more offended by this, and I don't even know what Yume Nikkei is. Okay? I watched this video, I read this article, and it's just Toby Fox just trying to just come off as funny, to come off as quirky, oh, look at me, I'm respecting this guy's right to his artistic expression by only asking yes or no questions. And it was so stupid, it was so pointless, it was so asinine. I thought it was the stupidest thing I've ever seen in my life. And that's not the end of it, though. That's not the thing that really bugged me. The thing that really bothered me about this, Undertale fans really tried to paint this as a W for Fox. Oh man, even the Yume Nikkei guy comes out and answers questions with Toby Fox wants him to. Look at how big of a deal Toby Fox is. He got to talk to this guy. Oh man, did you know he's writing for Famitsu, which is a Japanese magazine? They must love Toby Fox over there. Bro. If Japanese magazines are anything like Western ones, nobody's fucking reading them. Okay? Nobody's reading Toby Fox. Nobody's playing Undertale. Nobody cares about Undertale. It's 2023! Why are they still putting up this, weird weird facade that Fox is like popular over there. The closest I can come up with is that like it's kind of similar to like Ruby and how it was pushed in Japan, how like, you know, Rooster Teeth needed to like have some credibility, and like, you know, they produced some stuff with like Japanese creators. They like formed some business relationships. You know, they got into Blaze Blue Cross Tag Battle. They got like an anime studio to work on our Ruby product. You know, like some stuff like got made, right? But Ruby isn't popular in Japan. Like, I would argue Ruby isn't even popular in America. Ruby has like a cult following online, specifically because of like how it started and like who worked on it, right? Like, that's why Ruby is like has a following. Like, it's not because it's particularly good or well made, or because like Yon could beat Tifa in a death battle. She couldn't, by the way. Like, it's because of just like, you know, the red versus blue, Rooster Teeth, like the peak of their popularity, you know, doing something that, you know, an American studio shouldn't have been able to do, right? And it had like a following for that reason. Like, Ruby is complete trash. Everyone knows it, even the fans, but like, you know, people still respected the effort, right? People like got invested in it because of like, you know, the money and just the talent involved. And, you know, maybe there's not anything wrong with that in and of itself. The problem is when you try and make it out to be something it isn't, you know, like pretending Ruby is popular in Japan for credibility is just, it just shows that you're desperate for validation. It just proves that you aren't able to stand up on your own merits, and that you constantly need to like lean on like other people in order to prop your brand up. And that's exactly what Fox is doing. That's why he's going around like talking to all these developers, you know, getting all these interviews, like writing for Famitsu, like tweeting about every little like thing he has in Japan, you know, doing everything he possibly can to like try and keep Undertale relevant. Because without these actual brands, without these people propping him up, he's really nothing. You know, when you get right down to it, Fox is not a particularly talented or well-respected indie creator, all right? He put out one game that wasn't very good, that had a cult following online for like stupid reasons, and you know, he botched the episodic sequel, right? You know, Deltarune is a complete disaster, and nobody wants to admit it. We're almost on like Undertale's 10-year anniversary. It's like 8 years in now. It will be 8 years old in September 15th. So even at this stage, it kind of feels like it's running on fumes, right? Like, at this stage, like, Fox is, like, running out of people to leech off of. He really is. Like, he's going to have to, like, try... There will be no revitalizing the fan base, I think. Like, the problem is Undertale was popular among a very specific demographic, like 8 years ago, right? 10 years ago, I suppose, is when the Kickstarter started. Yeah. So, like, and that audience is, like, you know, really dying off. I don't see it continuing to be viable to leech off of that specific group of people, like, going forward. They're like... there's a variety of reasons for this, but I think what it boils down to is that like their attention will be divided among a bunch of different brands and ideas and properties and like creators. And I think the industry is a lot more bloated than it used to be. And I think when it comes right down to it, like, I don't think Undertale would ever be able to compete against Hollow Knight or really any legitimately well-made, good, interesting indie release, right? Like, we're at the point now where I think more indie creators would be willing to like challenge Fox on his nonsense, right? Like, I think there's a lot more. I think there's a lot more pushback to like what Fox did these days. I think like it's a fad that can't be recreated. I think like it's just a thing that's fallen by the wayside and it will never ever recover. And I think like interviews like this, you know, situations like this really demonstrate that like, yeah, Fox is getting desperate. He is losing relevancy. He is losing popularity. He is losing interest. He is losing fans, right? And I think when it reaches like a certain point, when it reaches the point where, you know, nobody even remembers who he is, like, he isn't going to be able to recover, right? He isn't going to be able to put out a new game. He isn't going to be able to like, you know, reconnect with a new audience. He isn't going to be able to forge new connections because he spent too much time doing nothing and like in, you know, trying to leech off of like the success of others. Like that's what I think Toby Fox has done. Nothing he's done in the past 8 years has been relevant, significant, or important at all. Toby Fox is a complete hack, and I do not respect him at all.